Hello everyone, today we are here with Augusto Farfus, BMW DTM driver. We're going to talk about your career a little bit, and also you're going to give me a bit of advice about how to race a car myself, because that's going to be one of the aims of this project. So,
okay, good.
Hopefully you can make me a little bit better of a driver. So anyway, starting off with your career, in your early career you started with mini bikes, if I'm correct, before you did karting. Did you ever think of a career on two wheels instead of four?
Well, actually I started because I got as a Christmas present a mini bike from my dad, and back in the time, nowadays internet and YouTube and stuff, you can see so much. Back in the time, we didn't have much, especially down in Brazil. And my dad used to have like this monthly magazine about bikes and cars, and I saw in one of them that there was a race for the same bike I had. So I pushed my dad so hard that he finally brought me to a racetrack which was like 50 kilometers away. And then, to cut a long story short, I started racing and I won my first championship. In an extremely low level, I was 6. But my mom, she never wanted me to do that because she thought it was just dangerous. So along the year, she tried her very best to put me on soccer, swimming, judo, every possible sport, and I didn't want to give it up. And then towards the end of the year, there was a kid racing the bikes with me that he was also doing go-karts, and then my family thought, let's give him the try in a go-kart because 4 wheels will be safer than 2 wheels, and that's a little bit how it happened. I went testing go-karts and I fell in love immediately, because I think, to be really honest, as a child driving a go-kart, it felt more like driving a mini car. So it gave me a little bit this freedom idea, and that's how it all started. Then I started go-kart, and then
the rest is history. So you progressed to karting in 1992, remember correctly. How important is karting now when you look back at it as a professional driver in like learning the skills?
Well, I think go-kart, it is the basic, and I'm a big fan of go-karting. Unfortunately, I don't have time anymore to drive as much as I would like to. But the go-kart, it is pure motorsport. To develop all your feelings, sensations, go-kart, it is the best tool available. First of all, because it is reasonable, cheap compared to any other race car. You can drive a lot. And I learn a lot. So a lot of my driving style, even nowadays, are coming from go-karts. Like I'm not a big fan of turning the steering wheel, for instance. I don't like to turn the steering wheel, and that's come a little bit from go-kart. My engine feeling, I'm extremely sensible on engine behavior, engine characteristic, and I have to say, big part of that comes from go-kart. So hearing the engine, feeling vibrations, possible noise, and characteristics which helps you to feel and learn the engine. And I have to say, back in my times in go-kart, I was good. Many times, I was a CRG factory driver. Many times I could tell the team, this engine is going to break, and the engine, it broke. I think go-kart, it is the basics.
So you'd advise anyone, maybe like myself, to get as much time in the car as possible before going in the car?
I think go-kart, it never hurts. It is, go-kart will give you the basics to drive any possible car. Of course, to driving a Formula 1, whatever, it is different. But the go-kart, the idea of lines, feeling the tire, it is there, and for me, it is important to definitely start there.
After you progressed from karting, you went to single-seater championships. Did you always have the aim to go to Formula 1 at that time? Because obviously you won quite a few of the big championships like Euro 3000.
My target was to go to Formula 1, as any young kid should be. But at the end, Formula 1, it is not, unfortunately, only down to talent. You need to have millions of talent to make the Formula 1, and I didn't have these millions of talent. So I had to make a call at a certain point to become a professional driver and leave from racing, and that, I think, was the best call I ever done. A lot of drivers, very good drivers, they kept forcing this Formula 1 dream, and they end up nowhere. And for me, it was hard. It was not easy to make that call, to give up a life dream where I've been chasing this dream for my entire life in that moment, and just focus on something that I never thought about.
Exactly, yeah.
But if I look backwards, I think that was definitely the right call and the right direction. And now here I am.
So after Formula 3000, you went to World Touring Cars. Was that kind of a weird experience because they're two very different, types of?
I didn't want to go there, to be honest. Yeah. I have a very good relationship with my former bosses in Alfa Romeo and the whole Alfa Romeo family still. But I didn't behave as I should because I didn't want. Yeah. Because in that time I still wanted to be a Formula 1 driver. So for me, driving that car with 280 horsepower, front wheel drive, was something that I never ever wanted in my life. Yeah. And then I was forced to drive, and I have to say, I put the car, first race I ever did, I put the car on, I start P2 and I won the race. Second race I was on pole, and I did an amazing career in touring cars, but I didn't want. But then that opened many doors, and along that year I realized how important was touring cars, or how important was the motorsport for my life. So then I end up just focusing on my career, and it opened many other doors, and I think that was the right decision.
Yeah. And in 2007, obviously you joined BMW, where you are still today. Was that a big moment? Because obviously BMW is a much bigger manufacturer in terms of, a big brand in terms of how
it was like a kind of a dream, because by that time I was already fully settled as a touring car. I was a professional driver, and having this opportunity to join BMW, it is something big, it is something important, and it's something that is changes your life. I was joining one of the biggest manufacturers in the world, big responsibilities, and back the time was Mario Tyson still. He was a true gentleman, the way he welcomed the whole BMW family, and I'm extremely pleased and proud to be here again.
And then in 2012 you switched to DTM, obviously stepping up again, it's even quicker. I guess, is this the closest car you've driven to a Formula 1 car?
Well, I drove Formula 1 back in the time. I did a few runs for BMW Sauber. Yeah, definitely DTM is a fast car. It is very fast, very sophisticated, very sensitive, and it is the best race you can get. I mean, we're having difficult times on finding a right compromise for myself, but it is a cool championship, cool cars, cool environment, so it is kind of living the dream here. Yeah. And
in your second year, you nearly won the championship. How did you adapt so quickly to such a quick car?
It's a little. I will give an example. We are in the World Cup now. If you take, I don't know, Neymar, because I'm Brazilian, and you put Neymar to play indoor soccer, it will be a matter of few matches, and he will still be good because he has the talent. And this applies same for the race car driver. Of course, even now you could throw me into a Formula 1 car. Okay, I might need few runs to just understand, and I will be up to speed. And the same if you take Hamilton or Vettel or anyone and you bring into DTM, he might need 1-2 weekends just to understand a little bit, and he'll be up to speed. So for me, it was a matter of just get in, get a few runs. In that time, we managed to do a lot of kilometers, so it helped my build up my speed. And we are up to speed from the get-go.
So, as part of this documentary, I'm going to be racing a car myself. As a professional racing driver, how would you advise me to keep cool under the pressure of racing a car, like battling people out on track?
Well, I think you just have... It is difficult because there is different circumstances, different level of pressure. But for me, what I always do, I always go back home, look myself to the mirror, and I give a true, honest judgment to the man I've been, or the driver I've been. This applies for my racing career, but also for my daily basis. So at the end, as a race car driver, we're gonna have bad days. Today I had a bad day, but I go back home, I look to the mirror, and I would really know, did I give my best? And this would always push you forward and would always make you a better driver, a better person. So the only hint I can actually give to you is just push yourself every day to the limit, learn from your mistakes, and be honest, because it's a little bit, sometimes you hear, I locked wheels turn one, but the wind and
So easy to blame some other things.
you know,
sometimes, yeah.
and it's true. Sometimes that could be the case, but there is a man behind the steering wheel, and you have to be open and straightforward to yourself to become better.
You raced in touring cars a lot of your career as well. How would you advise me? Obviously, close contact. I mean, contact is normally, there, especially in world touring cars. How would you advise me to?
You have to read. I think you have to build up a knowledge on who you're racing to. There is drives and drivers. There is some, I will not make any names, that if they get on your side, be careful, they're gonna come hard. And some are less. So I think the contact is part of the racing, but you should not look for the contact. Contact will come, will happen, but just try to learn your mates around you, and you know who's around you, and you know how hard they're gonna hit you.
So my last question was, if you had one piece of advice for me going to my first race, what would that be?
Enjoy, because you choose this world, you choose this environment, this bloody crazy environment, surrounded by crazy people like me, because you love it. You just enjoy it. I mean, pressure will come. Pressure sometimes takes part of the passion and the love away. It is normal, but just enjoy. Sit there and have fun.
Great, thank you. Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.